Ryan, let me know if it says it's live because I'm struggling here. Here we go.
It says
What's up, everybody?
record.
Welcome to episode 3 of Last Man Standing. I am Tony Farmer. He is Ryan Hogue, the last man standing in the 2003 NFL Draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Ryan, how excited are you to watch some NFL football tomorrow? We're a little more than 12 hours away, buddy.
Hey, you know what? I can't be any more excited, especially with the first 2 games. Man, Thursday, Friday, football, little wetting our palates. And tomorrow, what do we have? 8 games on the first slate and then 4 in the second slate. That's awesome. And the best part about it, I get to watch with you in Vegas. How cool.
Can you hear me okay, Ryan?
I can hear you now.
Fantastic. All right, we're live right now. I just asked you, and maybe you answered the question already. How friggin' excited are you for football tomorrow, man?
Yeah, I did answer the question, but I'll answer it again. I'm so excited. 8 games in the morning, 4 games in the afternoon. Man, and the best part about it, we get to watch together in Vegas. So how awesome is that?
Yeah, I can't wait. And some of this excitement also has to do with the fact that we learned a couple hours ago what the prize pool is going to be. It's going to be $14.266 million to the winner or winners in Circa Survivor. So that's very exciting. What Ryan and I are going to do today is we're going to run down the Survivor selections, hot off the presses, the percentages of each team. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give you our Survivor selections for week 1. And we're going to talk about no picks and let you know how many no picks there were for week 1, which is, of course, always a hot topic of discussion. So first things first. Oh, I also want to say Tuesday night is going to be episode 4. We're going to give you a full breakdown and analysis of every single game. And we're going to have a couple special guests. And maybe one of those special guests is a familiar name that you'll all know from his time in the NFL. So stay tuned to our show Tuesday evening. We're going to be live again on Twitter, or X they call it now, and YouTube as well. But without further ado here, Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up hot off the presses. I haven't even got a chance to digest this yet fully. These are the selections for Circa Survivor. So I want everybody out there to go ahead and take a minute to digest these along with us. Ryan and I just heard Derek Stevens on the radio on VSiN giving us the top 5. I've not fully digested all of these, so I'm doing that with you guys. Okay. All right, Ryan.
I'm trying to figure out what's the team that wasn't picked.
Say that again. What's the what?
What team wasn't picked? I mean, there's 31 teams there.
There's 31 of 32 teams selected. That's a good question. Let's look here. I'm struggling to come up with it right now.
Yeah. Well, that's for our listeners.
Absolutely. Ryan, what sticks out to you on this list? What is your biggest surprise and biggest takeaway from this list right here?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is, I mean, obviously the 14,206 live entries, that's such a big number, and that's life-changing money. And the cool thing is, which they mentioned on the show, is that, our implied value is already up. And because there's so many more entries, right? I remember we had discussions at length last year about when to sell, if I should sell this marketplace. The marketplace is such a value, even after week 1. If all it takes is one upset, and your implied value is going to skyrocket. So if you just want to double your money, I mean, you could do it potentially after week 1 because how many people are in this contest. But for me, can you bring the sheet back up, Tony?
Yep.
I think it is not back up. But I will say that the biggest.
It's constantly up on my end because I got a bad connection. So you tell me when it's up.
Okay. It's up now. So my biggest takeaway is that the Bills, 1,700 selections of the Bills, and that is 1,700 people that clearly did not watch our podcast because, anytime I'm fading a team and I think that their opponent could be sneaky good, in this case, right, it's Houston, the Colts, it's the Bills, Cardinals, it's Atlanta, like teams that I'm really excited about versus teams that I'm not excited about. The Bills, I don't feel good about them at all. And I'm shocked that there's 1,700 people that decided to, and what is that, 12% of our, 12% of the pool could be out. And I would not be shocked at all if Arizona upsets it. I really think that's a coin flip game. That is a big number for me. And how about yourself?
I was interested in the fact that the Bengals number was honestly a little lower than I thought. When I got on my plane out here to Vegas, I was thinking that number was going to be up around 45 or 50%. But with the news with Jamar Chase, maybe not 100% in this game, and we know T. Higgins is not going to play, that was a game changer. And as we'll talk about a little bit later, that impacted my strategy of the teams that I went with, and we'll get into that in a second. We've got some comments here in the chat. People are asking about the Chargers. Chargers are at 1.7%. I got to say, Ryan, that's a little lower than I thought. I know you like the Raiders matchup in that game, and I don't disagree with you with that, but I thought a lot of other people might have been on the Chargers, but Justin Herbert's whole foot situation perhaps could have scared some people away from the Chargers. It was also interesting to me on X, right before we went on, past champion Mike Buckmiller revealed that he has a heavy dose of the 49ers and Bills on his ticket, and I found that very interesting. And speaking of past champions, I want to give a little shout out to Survivor Atlas, because on their app, survivoratlas.com, you can look up past champions if you know their handles, and you can see who they're on week one. You can also see past results. And I know after this show, Ryan, I'm going to want to go on Survivor Atlas on the Discord channel and see people's reaction to these numbers coming out. So it's a great community over there. Make sure you go to survivoratlas.com. Anything else stand out to you, Ryan, here on this list?
Well, just in response to the Chargers, I don't think week one is a time to do a coin flip game. And I feel like that Chargers Raiders, again, there's so many variables of Antonio Pierce being a new coach, right? He was interim for 5 games last year. You got Jim Harbaugh coming in and trying to instill a whole new philosophy, and coming from the college ranks, obviously had, success as a. I'm waiting, and unless it's like week 8, right? Then those coin flip, then you just have to. But week 1, I don't like to do coin flip games, and I think, to see that many people on the Chargers is actually surprising to me.
Yeah, for sure. The 1 o'clock games are going to be interesting. There's 8. Well, I say 1 o'clock. I'm going off East Coast time. It'll be 10 a.m. West Coast time. There's going to be 8 games going on at once. And I cannot wait to get this NFL fever back in my blood, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, hey, can we hear who you ended up picking?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a little graphic here. And again, I apologize for this connection. It's not very good right now where I'm staying. I'm going to pull it up. You tell me if you see it, Ryan, because these things are very delayed on my end. Do you see my graphic here?
I do not see any. Now I see week 1 selection counts. So I see the original graphic. And now I see Tony's week 1 selections, Ryan's week 1 selection.
Sweet. So there are our selections right there. Ryan is rolling with the Houston Texans, as he told you he would in episode 2. Guys, I'm going to be a little bit less transparent, and I probably won't tell you who I'm selecting on our shows until Saturday. And now you can see my Saturday selection. So I did a split, and I got 3 across the finish line with the Eagles on that very exciting game Friday night. I lost 2 on Green Bay, and I've rebought for those 2 on Green Bay, which Ryan criticizes me and thinks I'm crazy for, but we won't get into that right now. I've got 3 on Seattle, 2 on New Orleans, 1 on Tampa. Ryan, I'm breaking my cardinal rule of having a Survivor entry in a rain game. I took 1 on Tampa, and I've also got 1 on Cincinnati. What are your thoughts on my list?
Well, you burned $2,000, which I still don't agree with, but we've talked about that ad nauseum. I don't want to get into that. I think I like the fact that you have 1 on Cincinnati, which is the prohibitive, the largest spread. I'm happy I at least took one on there, but I'm also happy you didn't put 9 of them, for example, on there. Seattle, it's a little dicey for me because I know you feel good about them versus Denver. I think Denver, really well coached. Bo Nix is just such a wild card for me, as is Jaden Daniels for Washington in that Washington-Tampa game. The Tampa D-line is out 2 of their starters as of just a couple days ago. So that's, they're going to be able to run. Jaden Daniels, look for him to have 80-plus yards rushing. And so that's going to be a close game, especially to your point, if it rains. New Orleans, again, I mean, we both did it. We both picked division games. Carolina, they could be terrible. They could be, 500 this year. I wouldn't be 9-8. I wouldn't be shocked either way. So, but I do like New Orleans. I don't like their coaching staff in it. And we talked about it on our show last time. There seems to be a little bit of controversy. Like if they start off poorly, Dennis Allen will be fired within the first month, and the team could implode because it doesn't seem like they're meeting. There's continuity with the coaching staff and the player staff. So I'll be interested to see if those hold up. What did you think about my pick? I mean, I know you've mentioned a little bit about Texans. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't like it, Ryan. I think the Colts are live in that game. I've got bets on the Colts money line and with the points and teased actually too. I think it's a great teaser leg. So I'm a little worried for you, to be honest. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Texans won. I just think it's a little bit more of, I just like the Colts side. I like that running game they have. If you guys, listeners out there, if you enjoy this type of back and forth and this banter, this is what we do on Tuesday nights. We go a lot deeper, actually. So definitely stay tuned to our Tuesday episode. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully this works. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Let me ask you this. Would you be more surprised if Houston won by 14 or if 14 or more, or if the Colts won? Which one would be more surprising to you?
All right, so I apologize for the connection. I heard, would I be more surprised if the Texans won by 14 or more, or what?
Or if the Colts won outright.
If the Colts won outright. I would be surprised if the Texans won by 14 or more. I honestly think the Colts are live in this game. I think the Colts can win this game, which is a big reason why I didn't take the Texans here. I also think the Texans have a lot of future value. So I don't like it as a survivor pick, but again, we don't have to get into those arguments because that's what Tuesday is for. Looking at this board here, Ryan, of those top 4, the ones over 1,000, which do you think is the most likely to go down?
Well, I kind of mentioned that at the start. Is I think the Bills are the most vulnerable of the top picks. I'm surprised that there's only 5 people on the Cowboys. I know that game, again, is a coin flip, but to be a favorite like that, America Game of the Week, they got their guys back now in terms of, their guys in with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. They got Diggs is coming back. I'm surprised that only 5 people rolled with them.
How about, I know you like the Vikings. You didn't put a pick on the Vikings, but you like the Vikings. How about 71 on the Giants?
I mean,
it's
shocked.
only 0.5%, but that's a good little number there on the Giants. So we're guaranteed to lose at least 71 in that game alone.
Yeah, that's a great point. 71 on Daniel Jones, coming off an embarrassment of offensive line play last year against a nasty defensive line at the Vikings. And, even though it's Giants at home, and sure, maybe they're thinking big picture, maybe it's somebody with 10 picks or it's 71 people with 10 picks and they just want to be, go a little dangerous. I think that's such a dumb bet until you see the Giants play. I don't know. I think they're underdogs for a reason, even home underdogs at that. And, I'm just not a believer in Daniel Jones, especially coming off reconstructed ACL.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. You guys, thank you very much for listening. I apologize for the poor connection. We'll definitely get that worked out for future episodes. And once again, Tuesday, tune in live because we're going to have a special guest, former NFL player, and maybe 2 special guests joining us that day, Tuesday evening. Take care, everybody. Best of luck this Sunday. Have fun. This is the best contest in the world, best sweat in the world. Take care, guys.
Go Texans.